Have you ever walked through your own front door and felt something shift? A peace that arrived without explanation. A warmth that settled on your shoulder when no one else was in the room. A faint chime that seemed to come from nowhere in particular. A clock that always seems to catch your eye at exactly 11:11, as if it is waiting for you specifically to notice. You are not imagining this. What you have been sensing is real. There is a presence, gentle, consistent, deeply loving, that moves through the spaces you inhabit and through the life you are living. A presence that is not asking to be worshipped or feared, but simply noticed, acknowledged, welcomed. Angels. Across nearly every spiritual tradition that has taken the unseen world seriously, there has been a consistent recognition of beings whose function is protection, guidance, and the gentle communication of love and reassurance to those they are assigned to watch over. They do not operate through force or spectacle. Their presence is subtle by design, because their purpose is not to overwhelm you, but to walk alongside you, offering signs that you are free to notice or to overlook, depending on how attentive you are willing to be. And right now, in the home you live in the rooms you walk through every day, in the ordinary moments of your life that you may not have thought to examine closely, they may already be present, offering signs, waiting for you to notice. This message is about learning to see those signs, about understanding the 11 most consistent ways that angelic presence makes itself known in a home, and about how to deepen your sensitivity to a presence that has likely been with you for far longer than you have been aware of it. Before we continue, take a slow breath. Let the quiet of this moment open something in you. If you have ever sensed something you could not explain, a peace, a warmth, a feeling of being watched over with love rather than fear, trust that sense now. Subscribe to this channel if you are walking a path of genuine spiritual depth and openness. And if this found you at exactly the right moment, leave 1111 in the comments as your quiet acknowledgement that you are ready to notice what has been waiting to be noticed. Now let us walk through 11 signs that angels are present and protecting your home, and how to sense them more clearly. 1. An unexplained peace that settles over you the moment you walk through the door. There is a particular quality of calm that some homes carry, not because of anything visible in the decor, or the cleanliness, or the physical arrangement of the space, but because of something present in the energy of the room itself. You walk in after a difficult day, carrying the tension of the outside world on your shoulders, and almost immediately something begins to soften. The tightness in your chest eases. Your breathing slows without your conscious effort. A sense of safety settles over you that feels disproportionate to anything you can point to as its obvious cause. This is not simply the relief of being home in the ordinary sense. Angelic presence carries a frequency of peace that is genuinely palpable, and when that presence is active in a space, the nervous systems of those who enter it respond accordingly. You relax not because you decided to. You relax because something in the room is inviting your body into a state of safety that it recognizes at a level beneath conscious thought. If your home regularly produces this feeling, particularly in specific rooms or at specific moments, pay attention. That peace is not incidental. It may be the signature of a presence that wants you to feel exactly what you are feeling. 2. Electronics or lights behaving in ways that have no clear explanation. A light flickers briefly with no apparent electrical cause. A device that was off turns on, or one that was on turns off, without anyone touching it. Your phone screen lights up or behaves oddly in a moment that feels meaningfully timed rather than randomly glitchy. Angelic presence is often described, across many spiritual accounts, as operating at a frequency that can interact subtly with electromagnetic fields, including the electrical systems present in a modern home. This does not mean every technical malfunction has spiritual significance. Most do not. But when the timing feels specifically meaningful, when the flicker happens at the exact moment you spoke someone's name or thought a particular thought, it is worth considering as more than coincidence. This is, in many traditions, understood as a simple and accessible way for a subtle presence to make itself known using the energy already present in the environment. A gentle hello, using whatever tools are available. 3. finding white feathers in places that have no logical explanation for their presence. This is one of the most widely reported and most consistently meaningful signs of angelic presence across many spiritual and cultural traditions. A white feather on your pillow in a home with no birds. One resting on your car seat after a drive with the windows closed. A feather appearing in a room with no open windows, no pets, and no plausible source. These feathers are widely understood as a form of gentle communication, a physical token left behind as confirmation that you are being watched over. When you find one in circumstances that defy ordinary explanation, consider receiving it as exactly that. A small, tangible reminder left specifically for you to notice. Pause when you find one. Offer a genuine thank you, and allow yourself to receive it as the gift it is likely intended to be. 4. Hearing a soft chime, ring, or music with no identifiable source. A faint, high, clear sound, like a small bell or a delicate chime, that seems to come from nowhere specific. A brief melody that you cannot trace to any device, any neighbor, any external source, but that leaves you feeling lighter the moment you hear it. Many spiritual traditions describe angelic frequency as having a specific auditory quality, high, clear, and subtly different from ordinary ambient sound. When you hear something like this with no clear source, rather than dismissing it as imagination, consider pausing to acknowledge it. A simple internal or spoken "hello, I hear you" can be a meaningful way of opening yourself to receiving more of these moments as they occur. 5. A sudden warmth, gentle pressure, or unexplained sensation on your body. A warmth that settles on your shoulder when no one else is in the room. A gentle pressure on the top of your head, almost like a hand resting there in blessing. A cool breeze moving across your skin in a closed room with no draft. These physical sensations are among the most direct ways that many people describe sensing angelic presence, through the body rather than through sight or sound. They tend to arrive briefly, gently, and without any clear physical cause. If you experience something like this, resist the urge to immediately rationalize it away. Sit with it for a moment. Notice how it felt. Was it comforting? Was it peaceful? Did it leave you feeling less alone? That quality of feeling is often as significant as the sensation itself. 6. Seeing brief flashes of light or orbs that disappear when you look directly at them. A flash of light at the edge of your vision that vanishes the moment you turn to look. A small orb of light captured in a photograph that was not visible to the naked eye when the picture was taken. Light is frequently described across many spiritual frameworks as a signature quality of angelic presence, a higher frequency occasionally becoming visible at the edge of ordinary perception. These flashes tend to be brief and elusive, specifically because they are operating at a frequency just beyond what continuous direct observation typically allows. If you notice these occasionally, especially in moments of quiet or significance, consider them gently rather than dismissing them outright. Not every flash of light has spiritual meaning, but some genuinely might, particularly when they arrive at meaningful moments. 7. A felt sense of being watched over with love rather than observed with concern. This is perhaps the most subtle of all 11 signs, and also the most consistently described as the clearest once it is genuinely experienced. It is simply a feeling, the unmistakable sense of a loving presence nearby. Not surveillance, not judgment, but genuine care. A quiet, steady knowing that you are accompanied, that you are not facing your life entirely alone, even in the moments when no other human being is physically present with you. This feeling tends to arrive without fear and without anxiety. It is, by every account, fundamentally peaceful, the opposite of the unsettled feeling that genuine danger or genuine threat produces. If you have ever felt this, a quiet, loving accompaniment with no obvious source, trust it. It is widely considered across spiritual traditions that take angelic presence seriously to be one of the clearest and most reliable signs available. 8. Repeating number sequences appearing with a frequency that feels meaningful. 1111 on the clock, 222 on a receipt, 333 on a license plate that catches your eye at exactly the right moment. These sequences appearing not once but repeatedly in a pattern that begins to feel less like coincidence and more like communication. Many spiritual traditions hold that numbers carry specific frequencies and specific meanings, and that angelic presence often uses repeating numerical sequences as a form of communication precisely because numbers appear so naturally throughout ordinary daily life, making them an accessible and unobtrusive channel. When you notice repeating numbers appearing with unusual frequency, pause. Offer a simple acknowledgement. "Thank you, I see this," and consider asking, internally or aloud, what message might be present. The specific meaning often becomes clearer with reflection than with immediate analysis. 9. Unexplained scents that have no traceable physical source. The smell of roses in a room with no flowers, a trace of lavender when nothing has been burned or sprayed. A specific, familiar fragrance, perhaps one associated with a loved one who has passed, appearing briefly and then fading. Scent is described across many traditions as one of the more common ways that subtle presence announces itself, precisely because fragrance arrives suddenly and disappears without the kind of visible mechanism that the rational mind typically looks for in order to explain an experience away. When this happens, consider receiving it rather than immediately searching for a mundane explanation. A simple, quiet acknowledgement, "I noticed this, thank you for visiting," can be a meaningful way of honoring what may be a genuine moment of contact. 10. Finding coins in places where they have no obvious reason to be. A penny on a path you have already walked, a dime on your desk that was not there an hour ago, a quarter on the floor of your car with no plausible explanation for how it arrived there. In many spiritual traditions, found coins, particularly when they appear with unusual frequency or in particularly meaningful moments, are understood as a gentle symbol of provision and reassurance. A small, tangible reminder that you are cared for, that your needs are seen, that scarcity is not the final word on your circumstances. When you find a coin in genuinely unusual circumstances, consider picking it up with intention rather than simply pocketing it absent-mindedly. A brief moment of gratitude can transform an ordinary find into a genuinely meaningful acknowledgement. 11. Sudden, brief shifts in temperature that have no environmental cause. A warm breeze that wraps around you in a closed room with no heating source nearby. A cool draft passing over your skin and then disappearing just as quickly in a space with no windows open and no air conditioning running. Many traditions describe angelic presence as capable of subtly affecting the energy, and by extension, the perceived temperature, of the immediate environment. These shifts tend to be brief, gentle, and specifically noticeable rather than part of any ongoing environmental pattern. When you feel something like this, resist the habit of immediately explaining it away. Notice it. Receive it as what it may very well be, a gentle touch, offered without a physical body, in the only way currently available. So how do you deepen your sensitivity to these signs and invite a greater sense of angelic presence into your daily life? First, practice genuine stillness. Subtle presence does not compete with noise. It does not shout over a busy, distracted mind. The more consistently you create moments of genuine quiet in your day, the more available you become to noticing what has likely been present all along. Second, quiet your mental noise specifically. The constant internal commentary that fills most people's minds creates a kind of static that makes subtler signals difficult to perceive. Even a few minutes of genuine mental quiet each day meaningfully increases your capacity to notice what is beyond the noise. Third, pay attention to your body's responses. Warmth, gentle tingling, a sense of your chest opening, an unexpected lift in your mood for no apparent reason. These physical responses are often the body registering something before the conscious mind has named it. Trust these signals rather than dismissing them. Fourth, invite the presence to make itself known more clearly. Most spiritual traditions describing angelic protection emphasize that these beings respect free will completely. They do not impose themselves. A simple, genuine invitation, spoken aloud or held internally, can meaningfully increase the frequency and clarity of the signs you notice. Fifth, use a simple, genuine prayer or request. Something like, "Please make your presence known to me in a way I will clearly understand." Then pay attention, without forcing or anxiously searching, to what arrives in the days that follow. Sixth, practice consistent gratitude. Whether or not you can currently perceive any sign clearly, offering genuine thanks for the protection and presence you trust is there tends to be described, across many traditions, as something that deepens and clarifies the connection over time. And if you would like to invite a deeper sense of this presence into your specific home, consider these additional practices. Keep your home reasonably peaceful and intentional. Subtle presence is widely described as being drawn toward calm, ordered spaces rather than chaotic ones. Speak a simple invitation aloud, something like, "I welcome loving and protective presence into this home." Consider burning calming, high-frequency scents like sandalwood or lavender, playing soft and peaceful music rather than chaotic or aggressive sound, and keeping calming stones such as selenite, amethyst, or clear quartz in spaces where you spend significant time. And simply speak, occasionally and genuinely, as though you are addressing a presence that can hear you, because many traditions hold that it genuinely can. Your challenge this week is this. Each morning, speak a simple invitation aloud. Something like, "I invite loving presence to protect and guide me today. Please make yourself known to me in a way I am ready to receive, through a feather, a scent, a number, a feeling, or any sign at all." Do this for 7 consecutive days, and then simply notice. Without forcing, without anxious searching, without trying too hard to manufacture an experience, simply remain open and pay attention to what arrives. You are not as alone as the busy, distracted pace of ordinary life sometimes makes you feel. There is reason to believe, across cultures, across centuries, across the consistent testimony of those who have paid genuine attention, that you are accompanied, watched over, loved. The signs are there. They have likely always been there. They are simply waiting for you to notice. This is the Messages of the Awakening channel. If this stirred something in you, share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Subscribe for more spiritual awakening content, and leave 1111 in the comments if this found you at exactly the moment your soul needed it. Thank you for being here.